guys, best incoming freshman. I did create this graphic. I didn't steal this one off Instagram like the last one. So, give me credit here. But I did create it in like 10 minutes. So if you're like JR, this graphic stinks.
It looks really good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so top 10 freshmen entering the Big Ten. These are just the top 10 based on the 24/7 composite rankings. Obviously, if you guys have anybody else you want to mention, feel free to do so. But my question to you guys, as we look at these rankings and who's here, what are some of the freshmen that are coming into the Big Ten next year you're most excited to watch, you think will be the best? Larry, I feel like I know where you're going to go with this one, so we'll let you go first here.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm very excited about both Bailey and Harper. Arguably Bailey would have been number one if not for the reclassification of Cooper Flagg. Harper in other rankings could have been number one if not for the reclassification of him. Harper, as you may know, in the McDonald's All-American game, actually hit a three right in Flagg's face to end the game and started putting up his finger on number one. I think Ace Bailey is an exciting player because of his sheer athleticism. This is a kid who can drive. This is a kid who can not necessarily the most consistent of outside shooters, but he can sink them. And if he's hot, he's hot. And just a big frame kid who's also quick and can do a lot of different things off putting the ball on the floor. But I think Dylan Harper, who may not be the player that necessarily jumps off the page from a sheer raw athleticism standpoint, and that's not to downplay him at all. He's the number 3 ranked player in the country, according to this list, and some list number 2. He's a monster player. But I think his, acumen as a basketball player, distributing the ball, knowing the right shot to take, contributing in every way possible, making those around him better, is going to be really exciting to see. I think he's a well-rounded basketball player for an incoming freshman. And I think one of the biggest things for Big Ten fans, for college basketball fans, and obviously for Rutgers fans to keep an eye on is this is a program that's not used to getting this highly touted, group of freshmen, especially 2 of them ranked that high with that much potential. And how is this program going to utilize, and accentuate and maximize their talents and potential to not only give the team success, but to get these guys success? These guys are, projected in many circles to be one and done type players. And if they come to Rutgers and don't maximize on that, that's going to hurt Rutgers going forward. So I'm looking forward to seeing these guys ball out. They've had a lot of experience playing together, playing against each other. These circuits nowadays for these high school kids are national. They're in all these different tournaments, all these different leagues, all these different invitationals. So it's not like they're completely new to the competitive nature, to the hype, to knowing each other, to being around each other. But the Big Ten's different. College ball is different. Playing, if you don't have a big anchor against teams that do, is different. And it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out. But man, I am excited. I am hyped. We had the guy earlier say Rutgers is going to be fire. Season tickets are selling. We got some premier games coming up. I'm hyped for these 2 guys, and I want to see how they play together. I know they're hyped. Let's see what happens.
I am too, Larry. I can't wait to see not just them play in the Big Ten, but how they play together as well. I think that when you talk about what duos are you most excited for, I guess that could be a subject on our next podcast. What duos are you most excited coming into the Big Ten? This Rutgers duo would definitely be at the top of my list. Kent, there's a number of other great players on here as well. Purdue has their own guy in there, Cannon Catchings. You have Merez Johnson for Illinois, who's highly regarded. Derik Queen, who I think is kind of the whole reason why Maryland, obviously a transfer portal class too, but one of the main reasons why Maryland is getting the hype that they are. Indiana lost McNeely and went and replaced him with Bryson Tucker. Who are you thinking here is going to be one of the best freshmen in the Big Ten next year?
Yeah, question first though. That's Harper in the graphic photo right there, right? Or no?
That's
or is that
Bailey.
That's Bailey. Okay, sorry. I don't know their faces yet. I've only seen highlights, but not a lot of guys wearing sunglasses playing basketball anymore. And, I don't know why. It's bright in there. I think it would help out the guy's vision a little bit. So I think that we should research if he's actually going to be able to wear them next year, if it's allowed. and maybe the whole team gets behind that. A whole team with sunglasses would really.
I've worn them on like 2K, like when I'm out in the park and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've put sunglasses on my guys, and I think they play better with them on. So
I agree.
I
You
agree.
can and I think it would be better for the kids too, because like if they get mad at coach or whatever, like he can't really see them in the eyes anymore. It's more like the football stuff. You can't really see their faces. So like they can kind of roll their eyes or whatever and be like, whatever,
Dude,
coach.
that would have helped out
should
AJ
really look into
Hogarth
that.
so much these past couple years. Some of those pictures of him on the bench where he's like making the eyes at Tom Izzo and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
It would have helped out. That would have helped him out so much.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have been able to tell that he was high either the whole time, so that would have been great too. No, obviously the two guys at the top, Ace and Dylan, are like everyone's excited about them. We can't wait to see them play. The only I probably should have wrote down 4 other guys, knowing we had a Rutgers guy coming on, so I should have looked for some more guys. But the only other 2 guys I wrote down were Derik Queen, only because I've heard his name so much, and Maryland fans are so excited about him that I'm excited to see what he's going to do next year. And I think they're going to need him. As I just said, I don't think that they're going to be that good this year. So I think he's going to get a lot of playing time. And then another team I just kind of bashed, Michigan State. I'm only excited about Jace Richardson because I was in prime viewing basketball age when his dad was playing at Michigan State, and actually saw his dad play live twice, I think, at the Breslin Center. So like, have fond memories of seeing Jason Richardson playing. So I think because of the legacy, Tom Izzo is going to give him more of a leash than he would give other guys that are freshmen, and he'll get a lot of opportunities. So I'm excited to see if he's going to be able to take advantage of those opportunities. So I'll say Jace Richardson as well. I'm excited to watch next year.
Yeah, I think that Dylan also makes a really good point here in the comment section. Dylans are natural pure athletes. We
That's
do
true.
know this.
That's a factor you have to consider.
Yeah, and we really do need to praise Dylan, the fact that he has taken his natural pure athleticism and he's gone to work in an elementary school rather than go play NBA basketball himself. So, yeah, props to you, Dylan. You're raising the next generation. We appreciate that. No, I think the Jace Richardson is a great pick. I can't wait to see him this season. Look, Michigan State's going to need it. They most likely are not going to have a competent 5 on their roster, and so they're going to have to be playing some small ball a little bit, and so they're going to have to get some of these other guys who are coming in, playing better and playing probably more minutes if Tom Izzo does go to small ball. That was my entire thing with him last year, was he kept playing his big men, even when it was like, dude, you don't have the big men to do this. And at times he would put 2 5s on the court together. He would put Cooper and Sissoko out there together at times. And I'm like, no, you're doing this the wrong way, Tom Izzo. Like, I'm sorry. I know that I shouldn't be telling Tom Izzo what to do. He's forgotten more basketball than I'll ever know in my lifetime, but still, like, you're doing it wrong. You don't, when you have bad big men, you don't put more of them out there. You take more of them off the floor. Like, this is not how you win basketball games, but, whatever. I digress. I am excited about Junie Mobley. He's the Ohio State player coming in. He's actually number 11, so he just didn't make the list. So I feel like I had to add him here. But what I do think is interesting, looking at all of the guys, is that Owen Freeman this past year, Owen Freeman was a 3-star recruit, and he comes in and he wins Freshman of the Year. Obviously, he shares that with Mbako from Indiana. So I'm looking at some of these 3-stars, wondering like, who could be out there that maybe could replicate maybe something of the same thing. And, I puke in my mouth a little bit to say it. Well, I have one, but if you guys have another one, you can say it. I puke in my mouth a little bit to say it because I don't want to see him do well, but, Darrell Brooks from Michigan. I feel like he could be somebody that comes in and could be a good piece of that backcourt and really help out Michigan there. I am not sold on Michigan's backcourt. I think that Roddy Gale is a nice player, but I don't think that you want him to be the best player in your backcourt. And so if Darrell Brooks comes in there and does well, he could be a surprise. Not saying he's going to win Big Ten Freshman of the Year or anything like that, but he could be a surprise, one of these 3-star guys. Kent, looking at the list, do you have anybody you're thinking about?
Yeah, I was just gonna try to find my favorite name on here, or maybe a favorite storyline to pick a guy. How interesting would it be if it's I just scrolled past his name, another Dylan Grant. at
Dylan
Rutgers,
Grant.
and he just like
There we go.
overtakes the other two guys and wins Freshman of the Year. How crazy would that be? I think all the Dylans would be excited about that, but unlikely that that's going to happen. So I'll pick a different guy. I'll go with oh man, there's some good names on here. Bryce Dortch. That's also at Rutgers. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at Rutgers, man. They got some good names this year. Let's see. Where was the last guy? I'm going to go with the Minnesota guy. I'm going to say Grayson Grove. He'll have, you got to kind of find a guy like, Freeman last year. He had a lot of opportunities at Iowa, and I think that Minnesota will allow him to have a lot of opportunities next year. So I'll go with Grayson Grove, Freshman of the Year, 3-star next year. How about that?
There we go. I'd love to see it. We have Philip here in the chat asking about Freitag, Freitag, however you say his last name. I'm terrible at last names. Over at Wisconsin, if he's going to have much help. They will have John Blackwell. They have Stephen Crowell returning, so you're going to have that good stuff. But, I mean, honestly, we'll get to Wisconsin a little bit later. They're another one I'm going to mention in the last segment, but I don't think he's going to have much help. If you're looking for like a 3-star that has room to play and might do really well, Jack Robinson might be one for Wisconsin. 3-star coming in there. If Wisconsin doesn't find, somebody that they can work with, they might just play him toward the end of the year. We'll see. But yeah, that's my thoughts there. Larry, any other freshmen you want to mention before we move on?
Queen is highly rated, highly touted, big kid. And I think Kevin Willard, being a Jersey guy, he came from Seton Hall, had a couple, a decent career there. And I think people are waiting to see. It was always kind of a wait and see approach with his tenure at Maryland. And a lot's going to depend when you get guys highly touted like this, how much do they propel your program forward. Bryson Tucker going into what I think is a stacked team at Indiana. And again, a highly respected coach that we're waiting to see push through and do what we know they can do. He's going to benefit from a good supporting cast. So it'll be interesting to keep our eyes on them. One other kid at Rutgers, Lathan Somerville from Peoria, Illinois. 6'9" kid, a lot of potential, 4-star kid. There are rumors out there that part of the reason Rutgers and they got smoke screens, you got Trilly Donovan running wild. I mean, who knows what to believe here? But there's rumors that they like him a lot. He's an incoming freshman. He's not going to come in and be a world beater per se. But I'm interested to see how he does, and if there is kind of a missing piece there at the rim, if he can fill that and how well he can and how much he benefits from the talent around him and the talent in the backcourt at Rutgers. So these are some of the guys that I'm interested in watching this year.
That's a lot of Rutgers guys, man. You guys are really depending on these freshmen next year.
It's boom or bust with them, man. It's going to be, you got kids from last year like Jeremiah Williams, but other than that, it was a bad season and like wholesale, everybody leave. And a lot of the newcomers, aside from a few supporting pieces, are these freshmen, dude. Boom or bust with the freshmen. It's going to be really interesting to see because you know why, Ken? I'd say this. Steve Peichel, we've grown to love him at Rutgers and the environment he's created, but he built that reputation on culture building and developing guys into believers in defense and whatnot. In the new era of college basketball, I want to see if he can still maintain that good grace, with Rutgers fans, because no better way to do it than getting guys this highly touted, but you've got to succeed when you do it in the new, college basketball culture. And this, I know we're going to get to pressure. I think it's, can you do it? It's not like you have top 20 guys, you have top 5 guys. If you can ever do it in this culture, the time is now to show that you can get it done in this culture. We know he could get it done in the previous world, but that's like a life.
I had a quick thought. Sorry, JR, before we get off that topic, just one last quick thought. I just noticed that Rutgers has, and I'm just like kind of spitballing here, they have 5 freshmen coming in. They're all pretty good. Some would say they're like fabulous. I think that we should come up with like a nickname for them. I was thinking like because they're they're so fabulous, they're so good, like a Fab 5 maybe we should call it. What do you guys think about that?
I was thinking Fat 5, like, when the kids say fat, like fat is cool.
Oh,
right?
okay.
That
like the Fat
like
5?
PH? Fat?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I don't
but
think
it's like an alliteration, even though it doesn't start with an F. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
don't cap me, though, for that. I don't want to cap you with this FPHAT.
Yeah, Fat Five, maybe Fast Five.
Fast
trying
Five.
We don't like Fab Five. Fab Five's not good.
I
I've
kind of
heard
makes me
it
throw
somewhere.
up a little
I
bit.
just don't know where.
Okay.
Why?
The Rack Five, Philip, the Rack Five. That's good.
5 rack. I like that. I like it.
That's
Yeah, there
good.
we
Philip
go.
coming from the top rope. I like it.
There we go. This comment was wild. I had to bring it up from Dick. I hope Harper doesn't get a status.
Dick Trickle is just going berserk in the comments. I've been following him, and I've just been like seeing what he said. I'm like, oh my god, sir! Don't
Dick
trickle
is,
it too long in the rack bathrooms because that line is forever.
You're on one tonight, Dick. We appreciate you being here. The OHIO podcast is glad to see you here tonight, Larry.
I'm glad to see him too.
Over there, Eric. Thanks for being here, Eric. We appreciate you. He's not too happy with your language there either, Kent. I think he's talking about the Fab Five.
I don't know. I think it's a good nickname. I don't get it. I don't understand.
It's very original. I'll say that.
Yeah, it kind of comes out like it just kind of rolls off the end of your tongue. You know, the Fab Five. Everyone will know. Like they'll associate Rutgers with that saying.
Yes.
Going forward, we'd have to start doing it more often. But yeah,
Start
I don't know.
pointing
I like
it now.
They could like wear baggier shorts than everybody, and like maybe like black socks, black shoes.
You know,
I don't know. It's just an idea.
A fan base. We got to get a Michigan guy in here. They have a big fan base. They can start coining it for us. You know, Fab Five at Rutgers.
I had somebody on Twitter mention today we need a Michigan partner in the College Huddle, and it's not for lack of trying, as Eric said. It's not for lack of trying. We've reached out to multiple Michigan podcasts. So far, no luck, but we'll find one eventually. Everybody, we'll find one eventually. All right.